All my samples are made with formula text, which have two arguments. One of them is number or date, and second is format. And the goal is to make appropriate formatting and to show up the result that was like number or date converted into spatial text format. For example, first one is for numbers. Let's start. Look at this format. It has 7 numbers right side, and rightmost 7 digits of this number will be formatted into 1, 2, 3, hyphen 4, 5, hyphen 6, 7. And the rest of numbers, in our cases 4, 9, and 5, are formatted with this number sign inside of parentheses. And if I add some more numbers, for example number 1, it will add number 1 inside of this parenthesis because this number sign matches any number of digits. And plus 7 is just number added as prefix for this result. Second example, quantity. You may also add in double quotes some text, and it will be added to the final result. And you see this comma makes rounding up to 1000. So this 12 is 12 thousandths as a result. So one comma gives rounding up to 1000. We will go back to this result. And 0 units give 34 units. It also rounds this number up to int number. So make it an integer. Next example is inches. It is the same as previous, but we have two single quotes inside of double quotes, and the result looks like inches. Next one is colors. Colors can be applied with text function. There are two ways to define color. There are some keywords like red, green, blue, and there are also 56 different colors. Syntax is color inside of brackets color 50. 50 is any number from 1 to 56, I guess. And here we applied these colors with different technique. We used more formats, and used this custom number format. Now you see it's red, and you have sample to watch what you have. Let's go to another sample with color. Custom number is, in our case, is color 10. If you change it to color 50, you get another. Color 0 is invalid format. Color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4, 5, 25, and so on. Click apply button and see this number format which makes colors, and it doesn't work with functions because functions in Google Sheets can't edit formatting itself. It can't make text bold or paint it with color. It only can affect what we see in this cell. Next one is temperature. We just added this degree and Celsius, so we have temperature for 3 formats, and they are divided by semicolons. First one is for numbers bigger than 0, second one is for negative numbers less than 0, and third one after semicolon is for 0. So this one format gives 3 different outputs for different numbers. So here we have only just 0. I applied it also as custom number format because colors work only with it. And if I change this into -1, I'll get this -1 here and -1 here. So it changes formatting according to what I have entered. Next one is replace with text. So we already saw this technique. Positive numbers, negative numbers, and 0. So positive is passed, negative is failed, 0 is on hold. And we just replaced these numbers with text. And it is very useful sometimes because we may use numbers as keys or IDs, and text is more convenient for human to see and to understand what is meant. Next example is conditions. By default, first condition is positive number, second is negative, and third is zeros, but in brackets you may enter your own conditions equals 2 equals 5, and when my number equals 2 it formats it like this, and 5 like this, and the rest of numbers are default format is this number kind. And what if I add next condition equals 7? It gives me a value, it is invalid format pattern, and that's because we can't add more conditions than just first 2. So there are certain limitations to these conditions. Next example, conditions plus rounding numbers. You also may round numbers with this comma up to thousands. So here are 5 and 9, 5.9k or 5.9 thousands. Oh, we have this big number and we don't have to see this precision, we just need to see 5.9 in this case to simplify for user to understand what numbers are in this cell. Next, sample rounding $1 million format. We just add another comma and it rounds it up to millions. And you see this comma is up to 0 gives us rounding, and this comma just separates thousands in this 0 because we have this number signs. Next one, more conditions. Also combine techniques of rounding, adding some text and conditions inside of the cell. And I have added this short note. Conditions can only be applied to first 2 subformats. So you could remember this. Next one is spatial chars. I've just discovered that this char have code 9650 and this 9660, and I may also use the char function, char with this code, and then I concatenate them with ampersand, and so I get this text for formatting pattern, and it shows me positive numbers with this triangle going up and this triangle going down for negative numbers. You may also add these techniques with colors to see beautiful results in your reports. Next one use asterisk or slash for using symbols as they are. So if I delete this slash from first one, I get just number as it is. But if I want to add 0 at the end of the number or any other spatial chart, I must prepend it with asterisk or slash, adding two numbers, two asterisks before each one of them. The same result will be if I just add both zeros into double quotes. Here. Next one is fractions. This backslash gives us fractions. So I entered number 1/3 and I have this beautiful fraction inside instead of big number 1 and 3 in period. It also works for other fractions, 4/10, 45.33, and if I add 0 I get whole part of numbers and then I get fraction at the end. If I want to make fraction up to 33rd number, I must enter this number after slash, and no matter what number we have, I'll always get some 33rd of numbers part. In 1/3 of 45.1 is just 45 because 1/10 is less than 1/3. So this fraction is omitted in this case. It's just rounded down. Example, adding new line. New line is chart 10, and if you add this chart 10 inside the formula, you will get new line as the output. Next one is fixed length of text. If you add question marks instead of zeros or number sign, you'll get this fixed text. It adds, if there is no number, it adds space instead of them. And I also made font Courier new because this font have monospace characters. Next one is working with dates. Did you know that if you add 5 letters M, you just get first letter of months? Let's get down to different months formatting. One letter M is number. Number 1 is January. Second is February. MM gives 01. It adds leading 0 before number. And next, 3 M's give Mar. 4 M's give full name of months, April, and 5 M's give just one single letter. Next, day formats. Day, DD, 3D, 4D, 5D. You see this 4D, 5D, 6D, and so on gives us just full day name. And as it getting shorter, we get shorter and shorter. Day and DD gives just number. 3D gives 3 first letters, and so on. Next, elapsed minutes is just number of minutes in this date format. If you use M inside of this bracket, you get the time of this value, elapsed time. What do I mean? I mean that this number, if I divide it by 60, I will get number of hours, and if I divide it by 24, I get the number of days. And if I then convert this number of days into date format, I'll get just the same date. So you see, dates are just serial numbers, number of days. And what if I want to know what number 1 meant? Number 1. Let's convert number 1 into date format. And we see that number 1 is date. It is fixed date for Excel and for Google Sheets. Is just the starting of dates. But Google Sheets go further. And what if I add number -3000? Hit enter and convert them into date formatting. You see, we have dates before 1900 in Google Sheets. Excel doesn't have this feature. And what if I use the same format m in brackets. For this I gave negative number because there is negative number in this cell and we have negative number of minutes elapsed. The same trick works with seconds. You may play around with it. Date serial numbers. I already told you that date is just serial numbers, and if I want to convert it into a number, I use number sign, number char for this. Year formats. The same logics. 1y, 2y, 3y, 4, 5, and so on. Next one. Number or text. You may also format text if you have special char for it. It is @sign. And @sign just returns text as it was. And finally, combine dates. We have this date and we have some big text inside quotes. This happened in some months. It was sunny some day. I will remember this year and year. And the result is this text. It happened in March. It was sunny one day. I remember this year 63. Oh, that's it. That's all my samples. Download this file. You'll see the link below the video. I hope you liked it. Personally, I found out many useful information from this, and you will also see a reference sheet inside of it. You have useful references for all documentations, and you may play around with your own formats and build anything you want in Google Sheets. See you next video.